All right, so I was looking into you and I found this site,
Ooh, okay.
Savvy Agent.
That is me.
I love this. Real estate marketing made easy, authentic, and profitable. What would you say is your main focus when it comes to this? Like, why start this? Where did that come
Well, my husband is a graphic designer. And so, I guess I felt like I just had some extra time on my hands and I really like helping real
from?
estate agents. Isn't that kind of the entrepreneur spirit? We're all like, oh yeah, I can take on more. And, with my coaching skills from my own experience, paired with his graphic design, I mean, we've got a lot of ability to help real estate agents. And I think, another part of that is I really hate ugly. Not that sometimes I don't have ugly marketing and I'm not above it necessarily, but if I can avoid it, I absolutely will. And so that was the driving force. Let's make real estate a little bit more beautiful.
I love that. And you can't do ugly. It's funny. My daughter and I were looking at art this weekend while we're strolling through Carmel by the sea.
Yeah.
And I go, ooh, that's kind of ugly. And I'm like, and she's like, yeah, I can't do ugly. So don't worry. I'm like, that's funny. So I just remember that. All right, Heather, how did you get started in all this? Because I want to, so this is just for me to understand, even though we've
Okay.
got it's just shy of 100 people watching. How'd you get
Awesome.
started?
How did I get started, like in real estate or?
Yeah, just in real estate in general.
Well, okay. So I told you I lived in Florida.
Yeah.
I have a tendency to work in dying industries. So I worked at a telecom company. If you remember back in the 90s, did you ever have America Online?
Yes, I loved America
Yes,
Online.
America Online was the greatest, wasn't it? Now, young kids watching this are like, who are these old people talking about America Online? But America Online was so amazing back in the day. And I worked at a phone company and we had the very first contract to be AOL long distance. So there were like 100 of us working in an old grocery store that they'd turned into a call center. And it was amazing. Like we're just kind of sitting around one day and then they turned everything on and it would pop up on your screen. So whenever you logged into AOL, you'd have a pop-up and it would say, you've got mail, that whole thing. But then it would say, hey, Tristan, would you like to only pay 9 cents a minute for all of your long distance? And, today that's like a thing where even I forget what long distance is, but
Yeah.
it's a big deal and it was very expensive. And AT&T was the leader at the time, charging 25 cents a minute. So it was huge. And then, as you know, long distance is not really a thing. And I lived away from home. So I moved back home and I got a job at a newspaper. Come on. So it's 2007. I think that's when it was. And I got a job at the Des Moines Register. I was the recruitment sales manager.
Mhm.
And then in 2008, I don't know if you remember, but everything kind of went terrible with the
Big farm.
economy, with everything. Exactly. Yes. So it was just the pits. And then I got married to Mr. Right. And we decided, let's buy a house. We're in a recession and we're on furlough from our jobs because he worked at the paper too. And we decided to buy a house. And so our realtor, she was so much fun to be around, but she was kind of a disorganized mess. And so I thought, well, imagine, I mean, and isn't this everyone's origin story? Imagine if, just a little bit of organization, I could probably do as good, maybe better. Who
Better.
knows? You
Yeah.
know? And so that's how it started. So I took my real estate classes. I remember going into a real estate office and interviewing. I was really nervous that they wouldn't take me on because I'd be part-time to start. And like I heard that they don't like that.
That's so funny.
Yeah. And I remember going back to work at the register, having that thought that even though we're in a recession, all of the people I just talked to at the real estate office, they're smiling, they're happy, they have no idea where their next check is coming from. According to the news, they're all going broke. But then I go to the register and everyone's pissed off. They're just kicking doors and everything. They just hate being there because it was a really hard time to work at a newspaper. And so a few months after I got my license, I quit the reg and have been full-time ever since with the bare minimum goal of one closing each month. As long as I get one check a month, I'll be okay.
What a good goal. I love that. Easy
Yeah.
to remember and still challenging. I like that. So
Yeah.
as you're listening into this, I want to know what city and state you're from. Everyone listening in. And also, do you still have an AOL account? Because I do. So
I do too.
I want to know if you've got an AOL account.
Yeah.
And with that,
Should
Heather,
we instant message?
does that still work on AOL?
I have no
don't
idea.
even know.
Now
That's
that
so
I don't
funny.
know. I've replaced that with Slack.
Hold on, let me see if I can. Everyone, yeah, it's on. Perfect. There you go. No AOL. Todd, shame on you. Go back to AOL. New York, no AOL. Nobody's got AOL. There you go.
Yeah, there's a few
Oh,
people.
there
I
you
mean,
go. Brandon.
AOL is like the greatest spam account ever, right? That's where all my spam goes.
That's so true. Trisha's got MSN. I totally forgot about that.
Good one.
All right, Heather, you came in 2008-ish. And
2010.
oh, okay. So
Yeah.
it's 2010. We were still in the middle of a really hard time right
Yeah.
there for
Yeah.
real estate. We're looking at a changing market, rapidly changing in some
Mhm.
areas more than others. What are you doing right now that you see is working for you for your business?
Well, you know what is not working?
Oh, that's even better. Shoot me. What isn't working for you?
Paying for leads.
Ooh, all right. So when you're
Let's burn
thinking,
some money.
yeah, paying for leads, what comes to mind specifically? Are you looking at realtor.com, Zillow? What is that in your head?
Well, so I do pay for Zillow leads, and I've been with Zillow since I started in real estate in 2010. And, you know, there's just, and I'm sure realtor.com has the same problem that Zillow has right now, that no matter how good your zip code used to perform, it's just not good right now because there's no inventory. Buyers are frustrated with the market for multiple reasons. So there's just a lot less leads today than there are in a typical market.
There are.
Yeah.
That's very true. All right. So that makes a lot of sense. Now, when you're looking at this type of market, have you jumped in deeper with your past clients and your sphere to get more referrals? How is that working?
Yeah. So 75% of our annual business, and we usually do around 60, 65 sales a year. 75% of those come from past clients or referrals from our sphere. So repeat business and referrals is a huge chunk of our business. And I think that's because we just stay in touch with people. But I don't ever call them, Tristan.
What?
Never pick up the phone unless there's a real reason.
I know, but I know what you mean. Like you don't pick them up to nurture. You don't pick up the phone to nurture them. Of
No.
course, you pick up the phone to like, hey, you want to buy now? You called me out. You reached out to me, right? I understand that part.
Right.
I want to know because I read through what you do, and you mentioned that you have a combination of things that you do to reach them, which is emails, some texts,
Mhm.
social media.
Mhm.
Do you have a newsletter too, or
Yes,
no?
but it's manual. Like I'm looking at my calendar because I should probably do it today.
I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
But you stay consistent. So tell me this combination of why you get 75% referrals.
You know,
That's a massive amount of people. That's great.
preparing for this, I'm like, why do I get what is it? Like, this isn't really, it's not groundbreaking. It's actually, it's very simple, but isn't that what makes it savvy? It's simple, it's easy, it's repeatable. Because I tell you what I won't do, anything that's complicated, not happening. So, you know, we just put our past clients and our sphere on a quarterly list. It's actually a smart list in Follow Up Boss. So it pops up that, hey, you need to call Tristan because it's been more than 90 days since you last spoke with him. And then I decide if I have a reason to reach out. You know, I might be busy. Like for the first 6 months of this year, we were slamming busy and it was honestly kind of hard to stay in touch. But that's where the backup plan of the newsletter comes into place. Because even if I don't reach out to you, then my newsletter is going to hit you. And then there's always the monthly home value. That's going to get you every month.
Who do you use for the monthly home value?
Well, I could use HomeBot, but I actually use KV Core. So
Okay,
it's
KV
not as
Core for
amazing as
that.
HomeBot.
That's okay. The point is that you've done it, right?
Yeah.
For you, you've simplified it for you. And Peggy says, I love her. So
No,
yeah,
I
we
love
love
you
her
too,
too.
Becky.
What about for the newsletter? What are you using for that?
Well, I used to use MailChimp for the newsletter.
Mhm.
Why did I use MailChimp? It was cheaper than ActiveCampaign, I think is why I used MailChimp.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
I think I have a list that's 7,000 or 8,000 now. So I'm well beyond the
Oh,
paid account.
wow.
So I was actually paying
Yeah.
like $70 or $75 a month, which is hilarious because I can blow money just as fast as anybody else in this call, right? But that $75 to MailChimp, man, that would make me mad every single month. I'm like, I got to get rid of them for one
That's
email. It
so
just
funny.
made no sense. So now actually I use Follow Up Boss. The design
Oh,
isn't as pretty, but I really like, what I like about it is I don't need to deal with an integration that mostly works, because if you integrate with MailChimp, you only get to email the top email on the list. Like the relationship emails don't go into that list. So instead of all that extra
okay.
work that I'm not going to do, let's get rid of it. We'll put it in Follow Up Boss, send it to all of the emails. And now, since I have a couple of agents on my team, I can actually use there's like a checkbox you can click to say send from like the account owner. So the newsletter is written by me, but it comes from Anna or it comes from Moko. And so it helps them with their sphere instead of people saying, who is this Heather chick, when they don't know me.
Okay. I like this. I'm going to dig in a little deeper on that because I think newsletters are underused
I agree.
and I think they're powerful. So
Mhm.
what is it that you typically include in the newsletter? Is it split up into 3 or 4 sections and what does that look like inside?
Yeah, so it is split up in multiple sections. I could probably pull one up if you wanted to see an example.
Oh
And,
yeah, I think
you
we
know,
all do.
I'm thinking about actually changing that a little bit because I often wonder if there's too many links.
There, got it. We can see it.
Okay, so this is an email that I sent in September. Wow, I've opened it 20 times. Way to go. So I really love how it says the number of opens and the clicks. And in this one, I had done a market update video in August. So, you can't really do the August update until September. And so I included that information here at the top of the list. And then when I used MailChimp, for these new listings, price reduced, whatever, I had really cute little tiles. So it would be like a 4-square thing where they'd be side by side in 2 columns stacked on top of each other. But you can't do that in Follow Up
Mm.
Boss. So, but the thing of it is, even though it's ugly, oh, didn't I say I don't do ugly? Oh my God. And my newsletter is so
Hold
ugly
on.
now.
It's not that ugly because I'll tell you something, Heather, as a digital marketer, your email is being delivered at a higher rate to more inboxes
Mhm.
because it doesn't have a graphic overload. And that's important. Look at all the text, everyone. This is important. The text on here is simple and to the point.
Mhm.
And Heather, it's on your theme. You do simple. You
I
do
do
simple.
simple. Yes. And
Okay.
sometimes simple trumps beautiful.
There you go. And this
Yeah.
is not ugly. It's streamlined.
Yeah. So it's a lot though. So I will also sometimes send batch emails. So like, I guess here's October's. October had, in October, I just did the one video and then they could click on the blog and then the blog had all of that information on it.
All right. So you use this to bring them back to you some more.
Yes, because I love the pixel. Here's a batch
Nice.
email I sent. Just
Mhm.
last week I sent an email. So technically I don't even have to do a newsletter today.
See, we're good. You did this for a reason. Now we let you
Right,
know.
right. Keeping myself accountable. Yeah. So this was a batch email and this one takes them to YouTube. I didn't send it to my blog because if you write an email, you can insert the little you can just put in your little YouTube link right there, and that's how you get it to show up in this nice little format. But if it's a video hosted on YouTube, but embedded on your blog, it doesn't look right if you were to do that. So, and then, it shows this pixel activity over here to show everything that I've been doing, looking at on my website. So then I can make a smart list of that, of all of the people who I could look at, opened up an email. I could look at people who have had recent activity on my website. And then I have a reason to call, or I have a reason to touch base. I could say, Tristan, hey, I saw you open my email 20 times, dude. What's up?
What's going on?
Yeah.
All right. So I click on this, you get the notification, but when I click on the video, what type of video are you doing here? How, because we haven't even touched on social. Now I'm excited. What happens?
Even if you have been living under a rock.
Yep. Then it's just
this.
Heather on video where her hair matches her oak.
Oh, I love it, Heather. All right.
Yeah.
This is a whole different world then. How do you edit this? Do you upload it? What does this look like?
My goal with the videos was to do one video a week. I will actually do one video every other week. So I'm pretty good about doing 2 videos a month. More than that, and I'm over it, can't do it. So I used to edit them myself. They're talking head videos. We don't really get into stock anything. And now I have a VA who lives in the Philippines who does the editing for me. So, when she gets to do fancy things like, putting this on the screen, she's excited because she doesn't really like, easy, simple editing. She wants to make it complicated and overly beautiful.
I like that. So is she also in charge of making sure that the description is right, the hashtags and the chapters or any of that, or no?
No, I do the description.
Oh, wow.
She does the video editing. So I do the description, the
That's really
hashtags.
good.
I'm not really that into hashtags. So I do some, like when you're
That's fun.
researching, I had actually named this video probably Marry the House, Date the Rate, because that's what the video was originally called. And then I wasn't getting very many views on it. So I did some research on, I forget what I had Googled, like, it's not even really Google, but it's like, if you mortgage interest rate, whatever, I looked up something and there were several different things that had come up. And so people had similar title. And so then I just updated my title, and that did get an increase in views on this one.
Nice. Good job.
Thanks.
This is really good. I love how it all comes together. So now I'm seeing how you keep people inside of the Heather sphere.
Yes, exactly.
So that could be the title of your newsletter, the Heather sphere.
Or my book.
Oh, there you go. That's good too. I like that. All right, now let's talk about texting, because you also mentioned that you text people, your sphere, your referrals, past clients, everyone. What does that look like?
Well, that's just more like a personal touch. So, today it came up with somebody that I was supposed to contact, Rachel, today as part of my past client follow-up. Well, I had talked to Rachel last week. We were texting. So that, if it doesn't happen in Follow-Up Boss, it doesn't happen. It's not actually super accurate in my world, because sometimes it does happen in real life on text message when you're just having a regular relationship with somebody, but you are still kept top of mind. And so then Rachel popped up today as somebody I should have a conversation with. And so, being that I had this Follow-Up Boss Webby to attend today, I thought, I better get better with my workflow follow-up here. Everyone should be required to do one of these to improve their own skills, right?
Oh, this is good, Heather. I think I might start a whole new section on Follow-Up Boss. It's called the Fub Webbies.
The Fub Webbies. Yep. Have fun with the Fub Webbies.
That's so good. Sorry, Heather, just had to add that. The web, I've never heard anybody call it Webbies, and that's so good.
That's all you'll see from now on. Oh, I went on this Webby the other day. We're having a Webby next week. Come to.
So good. So good. All right. So yeah, I agree with you. I think the text happens organically here and there. So
Mhm.
you just have to pay attention to who you're supposed to follow up with
Mhm.
today, because if you already have, then why are you doing it again? Then it's unauthentic. Do you also use social to communicate by messenger, like whether it's Instagram Messenger, Facebook Messenger? What does that look
Yes.
like?
So I use Facebook primarily, which also makes me feel about as old as an AOL user. Though I just want to say I've moved on to Outlook now.
Okay, you
So yeah,
upgraded.
yeah.
I
But
like it.
for using Facebook, that's my platform of choice, and it's the one I gravitate toward naturally. So for the people that I am friends with, then yes, I engage with their stuff, and by engaging with them, whether it is through Messenger or commenting on their post, then they naturally show up more organically in my feed more often. But then I have some people that I do follow on Instagram and stay in touch with them there. I'm not like as active there. Like stories are really popular on Instagram and I rarely do them. So it's not my jam, but I'll follow other people and then message them like, oh my God, that looks like so much fun. Or a past client the other day, she was using a freckle pen. Can you believe this? This is something people are doing now to add freckles to their face. And so I'm like, what is happening here?
Oh,
And so she had some stories on that.
like
And so,
the
uh-huh.
dots? You put
Mhm.
oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a new trend that I learned about on IG. And I also got to have a fun conversation that was not real estate related with somebody who considers me their favorite realtor.
Always the best. I
Mhm.
like that. I like
Mhm.
that a lot. All right. And then is there anything that we're missing then in communication? You've got
Cards.
emails. Oh, you said cards?
Yeah. So AM Cards has a great integration with Follow Up Boss, as I'm sure you know. And I love sending cards because that's probably one of the newsletter is probably the highest value thing that we do.
Mhm.
Well, then we also do equity updates when we do them. So that's on a schedule for your 90-day follow-up. If you don't have anything else to say, send an equity update, which is really just your active, pending, and sold homes in the last 90 days with a short little email like, hey, check out what's going on in your neighborhood. It's like a micro thing. And then cards. So if I am friends with them on Facebook and they have a birthday, I could send a birthday card, although I'm really bad about proactively doing that. And uh, recently we had Halloween, so I sent some Halloween cards.
Yes.
So and people were tagging me on Instagram. If your realtor doesn't send you these cards with pictures of your kids, then you need a new realtor. And it was so cute. And then I had some friends who, they don't have little kids right now, but they dressed up for Halloween themselves. And he was Chucky and she was the bride of
Oh,
Chucky. And so they're huge football fans. So I sent them a card with a picture on it. And I was like, oh, at first I thought this was John Gruden, because I used to live in Tampa and he was the Bucks coach for a little while. So
yep,
his
yep.
nickname is Chucky. And she posted it on my Facebook wall and she just thought it was the most hilarious thing. And then her husband chimed in and he's like, that was so kind of you to send us. I mean, okay, if you want to give me the kind award for the day, that's awesome, but it was really no big deal. So people think they just
Cool.
love it.
That is so cool. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Do you ever do handwritten cards as well, or do you just use AM cards right now?
I just use AM cards because it is simple. And I have cards over here somewhere lost in the files and I could write it up, but my handwriting is so bad. The more I don't, if you don't use it, you lose it. And so I have lost my handwriting. I could be a doctor right now. That's how bad my handwriting is.
I love that. All right. This is a lot of good information. I took notes, and I think people enjoyed this because we had some great conversations in here and on the side as well. So,
Awesome.
Heather, anything you want to tell us about the site that we first showcased here, which was your marketing site? What do you offer for that for people listening in that want to dive in deeper there?
Yeah. So savvyagent.co is the marketing membership that I have for real estate agents. And like I said at the beginning, my husband is an award-winning professional graphic designer. I probably left the, descriptive terms out.
Award-winning, yeah.
Award-winning.
That's big.
It is. And, it's not like he's a guy on Fiverr. He has actually worked at agencies. So it's really good design. And so we have, well, gosh, what do you get? You could get social media templates. There's a whole system on staying visible on social media and, training you how to use that in a way that works for you, because you probably heard me say, I don't do stories. I mostly use Facebook. So you have to figure out what works for you. And then we can give you professionally designed tools to go with that. On top of that, we have marketing templates. So you can download the ultimate guide to selling your house and customize it to your business. We have a course in there on teaching you how to use that lead magnet, how to get people to register for it, and then how to deliver that in a way that doesn't keep you awake at night. There's marketing templates, like you can have your own marketing presentation, listing service report. There's so much in there, but basically how to take your marketing to the next level and get your business designed in a way that brings all the leads in, but then helps you turn them into sales.
I love that. I put up your website on there, savvyagent.co.
Yep.
And I put the about section so people can check you out there.
Okay,
And then
cool.
any questions they have, how do people reach out to you, Heather? Because you were, by the way, you were great to talk to. I enjoyed
Oh, good.
it.
Thank you. You were also great to talk to. I was a little nervous about talking to Tristan. Are you kidding me? Whew. I feel like I'm in the presence of a star. How they can get in touch with me at savvyagent.co. I have a podcast that they can listen to. If you just need more Heather time, you can email me, heather@savvyagent.co. You can get in the Heather sphere there.
Heather sphere. Heather@savvyagent.co. Got it. Let me make sure I got that spelling right.
Oh, Fab Webby. See, it's catching on.
It's catching on already. Get more Heather time. There we go. All right. Heather, thanks so much for being on. It was fun, and you're so easy to talk to, and you bring information too. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Tristan. I appreciate you taking the time to chat with me.
Thanks. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Stay safe.
Bye.